Who is the greatest knight in English history? Well, it's without a shadow of a doubt this guy, William Marshal, the Earl of Pembroke. Now, this video is going to be pretty long because this guy's life is badass, so let's take a look. William Marshal grew up during the brutal civil war known as the Anarchy between King Stephen and Queen Maud, and King Stephen actually captured young William Marshal and was besieging his father's castle, when he threatened to launch William Marshal from a trebuchet into the castle. Now, Marshal's father just simply replied, "Meh, I can make more sons, do it." King Stephen, however, felt pity and didn't, which is a good job because William Marshal would come to save England's bacon. However, once he grew older, given that he was not his father's actual heir, he was landless and, for a noble, pretty penniless. So he decided to make his fame and fortune at the jousts. And on his deathbed, he boasted to having beat 500 competitors in the jousting lists. And he became best friends with Henry the Young King, the son of the actual king, King Henry II, and the two of them became famous all across Europe for just participating in tournaments literally pretty much every single day. However, the young king was a bit of an idiot and rebelled against his father and eventually died from dysentery, and he made William Marshal, his best friend, promise to go on crusade for him. So from 1183 to 1186, William Marshal was in Jerusalem, and when he returned, he entered into the service of King Henry II, who was now fighting rebellion against another son, this time Richard the Lionheart. And during battle, William Marshal unhorsed Richard the Lionheart, who himself is one of England's greatest ever warriors. However, Richard, when he became king, held no ill feelings and allowed William Marshal to marry the heiress to the Earldom of Pembroke, making William Marshal ludicrously wealthy. And when King Richard died, and with the rise of King John, William Marshal was crucial to King John's support base. But the two of them had a tumultuous relationship and were constantly falling out, probably because King John was just, he's awful, right? So awful, in fact, that he's forced by his barons to sign Magna Carta and then ends up fighting the First Barons' War. William Marshal is back at John's side and fights alongside him from 1215 to 1216 when King John dies. And on his deathbed, he designates William Marshal to be the protector of his son, now King Henry III, who's only 9 years old. The barons have invited the Crown Prince of France to be their king, so there are technically now two kings in England. However, the two forces meet at the Battle of Lincoln. William Marshal is now 70 years old and achieves a stunning victory. And he proceeds to continue to rule England in the young king's name until 1219, when he unfortunately passes away. William Marshal, the man who won 500 jousts, unhorsed Richard the Lionheart, and saved England from the First Barons' War, ruled England for a good few years, helped raise a future king, is himself, perhaps, in my opinion, the greatest knight in English history. Hope you enjoyed.